Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another stream. Hopefully, you guys are doing great. Finally got some good amount of sleep yesterday. Woke up a decent amount of time, so I'm raring to go. If you can't tell by the enthusiasm in my voice, so let's get started. Yesterday pretty much went ahead pretty fast. I thought it was a bank holiday and I was mistaken, and again mistakes. everyone's everyone's fallible to mistakes, like I said. US market was actually open yesterday. They just, I think, having what's it called again, different hours, I think it was. I don't know. But either or, it was open, so pretty much the last half of what I said was in terms of expecting a quiet day did not apply, but stuff in the middle, what I said in terms of target wise, praying for downward movements, pretty much came in, and here we are, sort of now middling and coming back up. So if you just short here and just woke up, you're like, missed everything. What do I do? Okay, none. So let's sort of mark things up again. Always extend sort of the daily balance already. Nice little tap here, and you can see this is what you want from this nice little tap. Run away. There's your sort of bias for the day already come in a bit bullish, which is nice. Monday already created a nice little high and low for us, so we've got our weekly high, which is would be here. There you go. There's our weekly high. We need to go ahead and mark our weekly low. Monday's weekly low is here. Monday's low would be here. There you go. Slight variation again. Monday and Tuesday have different lows, but because again, people like to mark things differently. I like to have Monday marked as your primary, then you have your Monday and Tuesday for your tertiary sort of range. But yeah, I still have your question in terms of congestion zones. Yeah, we'll go ahead talk about those now if you want. Congestion zones, areas like this where you have areas of bars, and in terms of trying to identify them, the easiest way to possibly do that is probably to do, if you're struggling, switch up, call them something different. I think it's what was it, Smith, the strat numbers. Just click on that. There you go. uh Uncheck everything. So strat is like another sort of bar counting measure. It's actually like super nice to sort of it gets really early, but essentially what you're looking for is ones. So one is an inside bar, and as you can see you have this coming in, nice little one, your 2 1 2. It's nice little patterns you learn, but that's neither here or there. But in terms of these bars, you can see this entire sort of range here coming in. You got a nice little consolidation with these bars coming in inside and closing inside the previous sort of wick. So this would be a nice little congestion zone here. So it's nice, like I said, we waited, so you can identify this area here, and you can see how we come back and we have this entire area here. As soon as we leave away, we come back, we treat this as support, we push away. That's sort of what congestion zones are if you're looking for uh inside actual things. And if you want to visualize it, a nice way to again visualize it is using the strap. I think am I trying to think of Rob Barker? Who's Rob Barker? Why is that name in my head? Damn you, TMZ. But it's a nice way to sort of look at things. If you're sort of going on again, it does make the chart a bit noisy, so uh, just find ones that show the numbers, and we'll start learning sort of what inside bar looks like. As you can see, these closes are inside this previous high and low. This closes with inside high and low. As you can see, these inside this high and low got this wick, and Another way to sort of visualize it is just looking at orders, and you can see trap liquidity. Yes, essentially that's all it is understanding where trap liquidity and trap places will be. You can see they started creating this level and lit trap liquidity at this sort of drop here, and that'll be the large drop. You got your wicks coming up on your drop. Then you let me see if I'm speaking correctly in terms of time wise. Much later on live. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it is in fact this. I mean, well, yeah, it is this area here, as you guys can see. Pre-CPI pump fundamentals. Yeah, it's coming into a bearish point anyway, but I think I think generally today might be a nice range bound day. Hopefully, not too aggressive. And like always, I don't have the correct tools open. There we go. Got my pen. Can write. Okay, what was I going to do? Yeah, go back into this. As you can see here, we started creating this nice little ledge within sort of price here, and you can see when they came back to it. Too clearly, let me go sort of. Let's find something that comes in much clearer. There you go, nice little orange. As you can see, this little area here, they created most of the sort of drops here. As you can see, then you got this sort of amount of longs that generally, if we started going below, you'd sort of look at as the inverse. Start seeing this as traps. So you can see as soon as they came down, they were introducing too many longs into the system. So they like, okay, you know, this is very counterintuitive. Let's move the goalposts away from this. Let's move it away. And you've seen the same thing happen here where you're introducing longs into it, but you're introducing it at a higher point. You can see the previous sort of area here where we have rather the area of longs entered in. You can see this sort of short point here. So zoom back out, coming into yesterday, get rid of these. There we go. Move it out. Let's go over yesterday because we haven't gone over it. In terms of timing wise, you can see the sort of test at the daily imbalance yesterday was pretty much the highest point for the New York session, and you can see as soon as we hit 10 o'clock EST, we got the one shift change to break people's legs. Then you could have entered exactly on that here, and it starts dropping down, hits our sort of first target area, and you can see this start thinning out. As soon as it starts thinning out here, you know to let up on this sort of wall that we're sort of looking at primary as primary wall. You can see it starts pulling up. Says, okay, we need to reel it back. We introduced a lot of shorts in the system. We need to liquidate them, and they liquidated them here and here, which is surprising. Looks like as soon as this went down here, a lot of people entered short and instant liquidations. So that's something you see there. Then it pulls down, as you can see, and then just starts giving a nice little choo-choo train here. Nice little choo-choo train. Go. I don't know. Maybe it's just my eyesight's going bad. But there you go. Nice little choo-choo train. Nice little stack where we stack up high. Introduce that. Then we move away. Don't allow the stack to be free. And we drop, and the train leaves the station. Expands downwards. Nice little pattern. And you can see it within the charts. I think I don't know, but it's much easier to see like this. I think. But that's up to you. If you think this is easier, or finding it in the charts is easier. Probably in the charts might be easier. Here would be what? There you go. Choo-choo train. Leaves the station. Spin stack upwards, consolidation sideways, and it leaves off. And there we go. We said like wait for 10 o'clock, and then you can see the 10 o'clock gave you 2 bars to enter in on. So you got your confirmation much later. Sure, you miss out on this entry, but at the same time, it's safer. I mean, come on, like, you won't pay for safety. Safety. So you could have entered in on this bar here, and you would have been instantly sort of rewarded. And then the whole day actually, even up until sort of the morning time, which is nice. It's always nice. As for today, what we're sort of looking at in the charts is you can see here we see this area here. This is an area to look for. We have the tops of this area. Oh, I don't want a box. We have the top of the area, which also sort of coincides with potential 50%. Here, as you can see, sort of just below, if that becomes the highest point within the sort of chart, we sort of say, okay, you know what, there's 50%. If we sort of pull down during this time, or even move sideways and pull down, we'll see what happens. I think we've collected enough. Let's see how these orders are. There we go. These sort of heavy stacks here, but as you can see, this is sort of a large sort of bar area. Let's see what news outlets. Jesus. There we go. Let's see what news is on today. We had several news. Unemployment rate for the UK actual went down, which is nice. I think that sort of caused a nice little reaction. Let's see. CRB, ECB actually. What am I saying? CRB. Brazil. Oh, Brazil doing good, yeah. It's just a lot of China stuff. We don't really care for China. Fed speakers, interesting. Midday seems like a nice little turning point, depending on what we have happen in the current sort of market. So that was nice to see what they say. Bank of England are coming in at the tail end session as well. We'll see what they do to the market, but generally speaking, I don't think they have much power, and they don't have much power. They have no power over us. Actually, they do. But I mean, we got a nice little pump off this. We're potentially looking for this to hold if we do come back, retest it. I think that's the most ideal case if we sort of come back, retest it, and hold here. Even if we sort of dilly-dally, and I think dilly-dallying is a word, and I don't think most people but if we dilly-dally, that's sort of much better because it gives us time, because we're waiting on time elements today, just because we know that 12 o'clock seems like a nice little turning point. So we're waiting for 12 to see what happens, and maybe even at 2, 3, so even maybe even at 2, so we see what happens within these sort of session in this sort of time and the build out. So 10 o'clock, we have 2 hours to see what happens from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Then from 12 o'clock, we can sort of either carry on moving. We won't carry on moving in the same direction. We might break some ankles. Then we might just start reversing the direction from the 10 o'clock direction. So it might be an interesting day today. That's what usually happens. I mean, news days are usually very brutal. I don't know where I came from, but still. We've got a little choke happening here, which is nice. I mean, yeah, thickening. As you can see, the color change is slowly adding to that. I don't know why it's not showing that. S250 change might be pretty much too high for it. Let's switch that within 3 ticks. Okay, that's fine. Sort of you see that area of shorts here that might be able to drive price higher based on those shorts. You can see those selling here. It was mostly liquidations that dropped that price here, and we already targeted a lot of short liquidations. So, well, I think we're waiting for new people to try enter short. We'll see if we can get them entered into this area here to maybe try drive price higher. If we can sort of try push for higher prices, but that's the only way we can push for higher prices on the current sort of day. But generally speaking, not a bad day yesterday, and doesn't look like it's gonna be a bad day today. We have our sort of lows and highs in place. Slammed in, hit back into this. I think the lowest we try for today is this area here. I think we don't get to it until tomorrow. Hopefully, we sort of look for this. We try create some sort of destructive sort of nature, because as we can see, we zoomed out this entire sort of region. We have there's a lot of shorts, a lot of short sellers in this entire sort of range here, and without sort of upwards price movement. I mean, most of these have been liquidated here and there, but I think some of these are still within sort of market, especially considering the amount of time has passed. But the longs, I think, are all but dried up. For the ones closer to sort of current sort of price within here, every sort of longs out sort of the market. So I think upward sort of movement, introducing longs into this sort of current sort of sphere is not that bad. What time frame you recommend to create market bias? Depends on the how long you want to go for. If you're a scalper, I mean, you can trade as low as you can. If you're sort of day trading, 15 minutes, it's nice. If you're sort of looking for daily biases for your 15 minutes trades, a 1 hour chart. If you're I mean, here's the time frames in terms of looking at, and I'd recommend an order of going at is look at higher, start at the 1 year. You got 12 months, 3 months, which is a quarter. Then you got a monthly chart. Then it's understanding weekly, daily. And this is even prior to actually entering into a trade, because this is where your larger trader is, and this is where understanding longer term pictures instead of looking in at the data. And for intraday, it's I mean, it's 1 hour leads the 15 minute. The 15-minute chart is usually where most people trade. It's where you can get like a lot of information, and I think it's one of the better time frames. And if you want to go lower, you probably want to go down to 3 minutes if it's sort of tradable. Because there are some charts, and if I go over to like ICP and this is not tradable, 3 minutes is not tradable. It's 1 minute is abysmal. It's not tradable, as you can see. This 15 minutes is just about tradable, and even I would argue at this area here, these are not tradable time frame. It's not a tradable time frame. It's just about a tradable time frame. So it's understanding. Yeah, you want to go lower, go as low as you possibly can to a tradable time frame. Like 1 hour, 4 hours for this seems like the lowest time frame you can feasibly manage without losing, or without sort of going into a untradable sort of untradable time frame. And even within dot, as you can see, some areas here where it gets blocky, it's sort of cases where you might avoid, and you can even go lower and you can see, okay, it gets really blocky and this becomes untradable. So now you know, okay, 4 hours seems like the lowest time frames that feasibly tradable for me. So it's trying to just go to the lowest time frame that you can manage, and if you can't manage, if it doesn't look tradable, just don't force any information. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. I mean, for Bitcoin, look, you can go 15 minutes tradable, 1 minute is tradable. I mean, 3 minutes tradable, 1 minute tradable. I mean, it's a lot of variety in terms of candle wise. So it's just understanding that you can just eyeball things. It's just like, do you have a variety of candles? Yeah, cool. I do. Is there? Are you dealing with spread issues on those time frames? No, I'm not. Okay, cool. Then it's tradable. And most altcoins can't do low time frames just as a product of not having enough liquidity. Period. While we're here, see if we can get crude oil. There we go. Crude oil. Interesting. Why is it interesting? October. That's why. Do you remember 20th time September? Yeah, October seasonally, pretty sort of bad. I think, do we have seasonal charts? Yes, we do. Only 2 years? Ah, oh, come on, man. Come on. Come on. Only 2 years? Only 2 years data, so not much to go on for seasonality, but in terms of 2 years, it's just such a short sample size. It starts, it's 50-50. So like I said, it's not information. It's non-information basically, and this is why you want loads of data points. And then that's why I say, if you can get historic data without paying for it, you're living life. But that's not how life works. But as you can see, we're trading oil into sort of this area here, coming in, just falling shy of sort of the equilibrium of this bar. We're trading short, but we're trading in between here. Could present a nice little consolidation area before a drop. Why would it consolidate? As you sort of try to print a flag, if it goes high, it would. If it goes high, we're probably looking at a nice little stop run of this previous level here to drop, or we just drop. There's sort of two things you can look for oil. Generally, I think it will normally want to go down. I know that's a lot of word string salads. There we go. Doji, there's your resistance for crude oil. Trying to get that oil. Seems pretty steep, but 71 support on, like, especially on the daily. I mean, you probably have nice intraday support somewhere around 84, but we might see a long-term slide with hopefully to 71. If anything, I doubt we go to 71, but you know what? Fingers crossed. What? Man can pray. Man can pray. But seasonally, it's pretty sort of nice season to pray for downfall. As you can see, this is a nice little consolidation. Nice little blue here, so we already treat this as a resistor. And this here, in terms of trap, we're seeing a lot of trap here. So if you can climb up back into this bar, start consolidating, and then drop, I think, or consolidate, spike, run the stops on this candle will be the most satisfying. I think. As you can see that now we have sort of our lines that start off. Oh yeah, that makes sense now. Yeah, I can see it without these lines, but you guys need lines. You guys are coke addicts. You guys need lines. Sorry, bad joke. They're already hitting into 50%, which is nice. We'll probably overhang into this territory. We'll see where our bids are. I think we're starting to bid, slowly starting to bid into this. The more closer I go, we'll change this to session accumulated, just for the sake of. And that is the session I'm currently on. So when I switch the bar, that's like 3 days worth of data. But As you can see, we're targeting these tops. We're slowly entering into and thickening into these walls here. See if these holds, and you can see the new shorts are entering in. Not too much liquidations, as the liquidations went off here. So we'll see that sort of new shorts entry into the markets, which is what we want if we're idealizing a potential long scenario out of this, at least for the short term run. And Spot sort of tries agrees with us. You can see. Okay, so much easier to see. Oh, here, you just buy this. Like they didn't support here, they supported here, everyone sold here. A massive sort of effort. I can't even say that. Why are Americans so scared of the F word? I don't understand. You guys have school shootings. I mean, come on, it's just a word. I don't know. I don't know. Different culture. But you can see a lot of selling. It's just very much all of this just mountains and mountains of people just fearful and just induced sellers or fearful sellers, however you want to call them. So generally not too many points other than the thickening of this, or not too many intermediate points we can take from Spot in terms of numbers, other than the 19,500, which is all, I think, all but gone. I think these guys are no longer with us. May they rest in peace. But as you can see, they slide into that, but they remove that, which is interesting. Hit into that. See if they want to bleed it down more. Again, not too much liquidations, but at the same time, some liquidations coming in into the market. Hit into the top of this, so if anything, this is a decent point we can call to try and reverse off of. So nice, we can create a nice little high. If we sort of extend the high, spike it up, 10 o'clock comes, we hit a nice little 10 o'clock high here, run the stops here, on maybe here if we're greedy, but mostly here. I mean, this was, again, if you're sort of marking notes, this would be another consolidation, another congestion zone. This area here, and you can just eyeball these. It's just an area where you have very small bars or bars inside each other. They're all like, oh yeah, like an orgy. Yeah, I can say that. I can say words that you can say on public syndicated TV. But generally, we're trying to be long biased today. Just because we've got a nice little kiss here. If we're going short, we have to break London. Have to break London pretty aggressively, then pull down. So it will have to be very aggressive on the day. I doubt we have that much steam to pull it down, especially considering most of this area is sort of short and a lot of sells. So it would make no sense in terms of managing books to try and go down here. Copium. Sort of look at where we are with our sort of support lines. Sorry, I'm insane. And see, we pretty much got what we wanted out yesterday. As you can see, we said this to hold, it held, retest, decides, you know what, forget about that, let's go down. Mate, we'll go for a teze, mate. Interesting sort of makeup of these bars, and it's pretty much everywhere, you can say. And we've got some split here, and you can see when we decide to hold this area after this sort of larger area of selling, there we go, there's our sort of little P that we held off of. This bar just pretty much nearly ended even. in terms of cycling. And we can even look at that, as you can see. So, I mean, but that is, they went long up, they went short down, decided, yeah, what are you gonna do? But interesting enough, they're coming back down and they're still sort of holding this area. So I'll only see if they just decided to introduce shorts to run them. It'll be nice to see. Hopefully that comes out. Look at Ethereum, since it's not broken anymore. I didn't break it today as I did yesterday, and as I do every other day. And this is another reason why I don't like Ethereum. Is if you sort of drop the other things out, as you can see, it just has a lot of noise surrounding it, a lot of sort of chatter. Like imagine you're in a forum and you just have a bunch of trolls just like trying to whisper in your ear, this is what that is. It's just irritant. So it just makes for an unpleasant experience, especially if you're trying to find out where the actual walls are. That's why you might have to introduce like a lot more noise than you have to, which starts to sort of get there, but it's just like it improves it, but at the same time you'll have to go in and run everything out and make sure you have no smoothing. And then this is on 0.5, I believe. If I zoom in and tell me what it's on. Yeah, it's actually it's on one. It's on one tick, but so it's every sort of tick is one price. Probably 0.5 will make these walls appear further away, but at the same time introduces to a lot. As you see, if we start zooming out, these just start condensing together and just creates a tizzy. But when you get these walls here, these are nice ringers. That's what you're looking for. And you see, once I introduce that noise back in, and this is why you have to sort of play with that cutoff. This just comes up. If I reduce it, you can see it's very faint, so you might not see it. It comes in, boop, and goes out. But for Ethereum, I think we're already at our support area, at least for today. As you can see, this entire area is just short. It's just very much like a midget. I'm sorry. But it's very short. It's sort of, and you can see it's a nice little shelf, and we like shells, we like volume shells. And the reason why we like them, they have a large point, and all it means is they went fishing, and they reeled it back in because they got what they want, and they were introducing too many longs rather into the system. So they decided, you know what, this is where the zenith is, and the most amount of longs will get, shorts will get. So let's pull it back up. As you can see, this just illustrates that here. Even if we're going up, a lot of people are just still shorting, even when price is going higher, which is a nice little diverging price, which is always sort of telling. And this could be very aggressive and sort of bouncing. You can sort of hold up this wall here as soon as we started clearing this away, and price started moving away. Let's ignore the noise and try to focus on this cleaner sort of wall at 1320. For Ethereum, we have a smaller one here. Again, small targets first, but we have a sort of larger picture target at 1320 for Ethereum. At least if everything behaves. It's just ugly, okay? And this is spot, by the way, and then there's just this. If the spot's this ugly, future's even uglier. Spot should it's usually more often much better. You can see like Bitcoin has been getting worse, and as the price has been getting lower in terms of these bids here. They've been more controlling, which is both a good and bad sign. That means a lot more algos are in the market now than they were let's say a year ago. That means there are more retail investors and retail traders trading this, which means hey, it's probably here to stay. But at the same time, it's just introducing more noise. Like Bookmap 1 year ago for Bitcoin, it was a lot easier and a lot telling. a lot more telling to trade, and it's like something. Oh yeah, you see it, you can exploit it. There's no noise, there's nothing. It's just like then they started like, okay, the algos started coming in, they started seeping in, it's like aha, aha. It started becoming noisy, but it just means as things are getting serious now. But whilst we're talking, you can see the larger sort of long into this area here. Don't like that. They didn't even move this heaven and earth wise upwards, but they're just sort of being counterproductive, going down. People are sort of buying. So interesting to see if they'll run these longs out or let these stay in. As you can see, there are points here, here, and here. So someone's averaging down at even bids, then pulling up. So probably smarter to say price might try shaking things up. If anything, shaking these out, going get out of here, or even get out of here. Coming to the VWAP, then pulling out. But generally, it does look good for what we're sort of saying and what we're sort of attributing to it. No. In terms of, there we go, we stopped here. I'm introducing some mix. We already sort of got rid of those areas here. Didn't close off this entire sort of point here. I don't know why you copied that. There we go. So closing it off will just spike it down a bit more, then pull it up. That'll close off this entire sort of inefficiency in that bar. We'll start a couple of ticks, depending on the exchange that's already closed. Do you know what? I don't know how that has up. That's interesting. Let's see. We can probably have a look at some altcoins. We'll see how they're doing in life. That was Eden. And we'll hit that daily level that we're looking at, that we talked about a while back. In terms of, we short it down to that daily level. Hey, broke this. You can see tapped it once, twice. Nice little just exhaustion zone here, or not even exhaustion or congestion here. Just says, oh, these bars just trading inside this sort of trap liquidity here. As you can see, just looked at trap liquidity and just said, you know what, that's my highest point. Let's go from this highest point back into this area here. And this is sort of the area we said would ideally want to long back into. As you can see, it also coincides with the previous sort of area, sort of highest liquidity point. I mean, we could have even said, I mean, this bar, but this bar was around here. As you can see, that's where we had the volume come back in. At the same time, this is where the initial sort of spike down was, so that I think was taking out liquidity. Volume was introduced back at the same area here. I didn't even have to look at Cyrus to notice that, but generally holding, which is nice. It's always interesting. We can remove this, and then I think our resistance will be 12.7, about 0.6 higher. It's not too bad if we can reach this. I mean, even if we short throw it slightly at 0.7, I think round number here, it's not too bad. If we do something like this, we sort of trade down from there. We can see if it does that. And sort of, if it does that, I'm not too fast, especially if you got long here. But generally, 4 hours, it's not 4 hours on here. It's not too sort of bad. But if you can zoom out to where we started and where we ending, we're happy. There we go. We started here. Just say, oh yeah, we're looking for 12. Got 12, and nice little daily sort of resistance at 13.7. I think 12.7 comes before 13. Who'd have thunk? But we'll see if we can trade past 0.7 before going down. But I think we can for the first swing. For the first swing we can't, but maybe we get a nice little bar, spike it, then pull it down. We'll see what happens. It's anybody's game. But generally not a bad position to be in long, especially considering this is just the top of the previous sort of high, comes in between the variance of these two areas here. Nice little stop in the internal sort of range. If we drop, we'll probably see 11.4. We'll see if we can hold 11.4. I think this is just an area where you start entering into sort of position, especially tomorrow. We might get a swipe, we might get this down here, then pull it up. We'll see what happens with Bitcoin's sort of tendency, but it's not a bad area to look at. We'll sort of create a nice little second leg W here. Nice little, however you want to draw it. Polkadot. Polkadot traded at 6th even 6th round number. This doesn't look nice if it's sort of pulling out or like this. I think it's trying to run out liquidity at the most part. See if it raids the 0.6 I mean, or a retest 0.6 even, then pulls up. Cause it's nice little consolidation, nice little sort of area we can say consolidation, even trap, pull it up. Hey, Bob's Young. Solana, after sort of the entry, sort of we said here, pulls up, hits this, decides to come up to here. That's like in these blue lines, always nice. And as you can see, this is a nice little area of we hit this, decide to go fishing, trap liquidity. Next day, decide to liquidate the early shorts into this system. As you can see, as soon as we hit that liquidation, you can see that sort of large spike here. Then we peeled away, retest back into this, took out the stops here. So nice little raid on stops. So if we hold this sort of hold this area here, it could generally look strong. So definitely could be a make or break for Solana. Especially I think that's true for most things at this current sort of price range, because most things are lined up to where the fact that they trade together, and as they trade together, they'll start looking similar in terms of where they are in the current sort of chart. Ethereum, not much to say. It's okay. It's okay. Same thing, looks like every other altcoin. Nice little bear flag. As long as we can spike down, take liquidity out, we can easy spike this on the opposite side. But I mean, we're already really short on the day. I mean, really short on the week in terms of Bitcoin wise. So I think we create some mess in the intraday before swiping out, create some more longs to drive the price to go down. But that's what we're expecting. So sort of short term we want high, mid term we want low, longer term we want high. Again, it's sort of painting pictures is what we're trying to do now. We'll see if our painting becomes Mona Lisa, or if it becomes Mr. Bean's interpretation of Mona Lisa. We'll see. What I meant to say is, we'll see if our ideas come into fruition. It might not often be the case. Haha. Any questions so far? We've got about 15 minutes to decide to say no mas. ETC. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're sure. Again, if you're looking at future data versus spot data, you'll get different results. I mean, because different traders are in there. I don't know if I have a spot marked or this marked. But generally, you always just want to look at the one with the highest liquidity. That's why I use Binance. There we go, I have this marked. It's been a while since I looked at this again, probably since here. But you can see how like I'm not even monitoring the charts, and these just, and it just plays with inside the range. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, man. Yeah, I think we talked about it. I don't know if I have, but yeah, it's generally not too bad here. Again, it's already sort of ran out these areas here, and sort of shown that it wants to drop. And I think these traders trade this high. I'm not too sure how the retail traders trade anymore. It's been so long. I've traded like them, but it's already sort of induced the sort of traders to break short, coming into here, and I think if they're not already out, they're looking to be out soon. So we'll see if we can reel them back in and start pulling it higher. So most things are at support. Okay, now I know it's late. Good time to start looking bullish. Yeah, it's a decent time to sort of shift bullish. Definitely considering how sort of with the seasonality wise, go on Speeder. We'll see what Speeder is doing in terms of seasonal wise, week of year change, and I know I can get more data points out of this. Let's go all the way to August. Again, October is, someone said it before, it's October. Seasonally, it's not too bad for it. We're in the 42. Yeah, we're in the 42 week of the year. As you can see, the next 3 weeks are generally good. It's only after that it starts sort of shifting away from it, but again, data points never lie in terms of seasonal tendency. As you can see, the 39 weeks. 39 weeks, Jesus. What happens here? I mean, you will never know. But seasonally wise and historically, not too bad. Not too bad to sort of say, okay, January was sort of, even without variance, the variance is higher and more to the higher point here. There are sort of outlier points where we have been really bad, but as you can see, the sort of average out in terms of saying your median is a positive change, if anything, for the week start to the weekend. So I think we've sort of, especially considering how we've come into a sort of a lower point here. Oh, I was all the way up here. Damn man, what happened? I know what happened. Biden, that's what I'm joking. It's not political. We're not a political channel. Or we are. But we try to hide it. So I mean, larger time frame wise, you've got a nice little long W, and we've already created a nice little second leg within that sort of a larger W here. And the reason why I dragged it out here and this becomes the midpoint is because it doesn't make sense for this to be a midpoint and this to be higher. In some cases, yes, it does, but I mean, we're looking at higher time frames. We can just collate this entire move because it's moving in the same direction. It's moving in one direction. Haha. I'm so bad. But yeah, we're already sort of creating volume sort of profile here. We're seeing that seasonal tendency where we've dropped down. We're generally average out here. In terms of like looking at sort of economical factors that might affect this, I mean, we should be on the more bearish side, but if we need to renew interest into for traders, I think we do it now, at least because I think if we start dropping any more, traders become what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, why don't I think of that word? That was a word I was looking for and I can't seem to find it, but I think holocrack USTC. UST. Oh, you mean stocks? You want US real estate holdings? Normally we don't look at that, but I mean, if you want it, we can have it. Ugh. This KuCoin. Ugh. I would say no. We're on weekly. I would say looks pretty new. Not enough data points. I mean, we've got some. We're looking at already. It's ugly. It looks ugly. That's all I can say. Like just looking at this, it just looks ugly. Going for both, but and what I mean by looks ugly, I can tell just without even going. Actually, you know what? Let's go to how the candles look. There we go. You can tell the candles look ugly here. It's sort of, it's just thin here and a lot of pumps and dumps on this. And each cycle it's slower, so probably pump it, dump it. This variation here is just not, it's not pretty enough to trade. I mean, if anything, you're probably looking for something like this, and if you're looking to trade it, but I'm probably coming back into here. I think wait for it for that price action. It's going to be either going to be a pump or dump coin. See, they're making up so much new coins that I can't even keep up. That's why I just keep to the standard, just Bitcoin. There is no second best, and just trade those. Because I like data. You don't already know. I like data. I like data. I eat data for breakfast. I am a 2000s man. Old reference. But damn. But yeah, looks like they're trying to fit it out. But I think looking at these bars, generally you can say, normally with how things are, and seeing these time and time again, this normally goes higher. If it goes higher, we run the risk of spiking at 12, and 12 we drop. So that's the only sort of risk. It's just this becomes a very short-lived sort of climb higher, and just becomes the second leg where we just run out the higher sort of liquidity. So I'm interested to see how high they go to target this liquidity points, but we'll see. So generally speaking, that's what we're looking for today, and I think I can cut it here. I already run this sort of stream dry. Any questions, any final questions, just leave them. We've got about 7 minutes, so before we leave off for today, and I pack my suitcases and I go buy some cigarettes and milk, and I never come back, just like your father and his father before him. Oh, Neil looks interesting. Oh, god damn. Since it fell out, this sort of area here has just been womp womp womp. Let's have like a nice little weekly sort of stop. See if it does anything interesting here. I would be looking at it and just saying, because it's really low. It's at a very historical point here in terms of low wise. It's pretty downtrodden. I think if anything, you don't have too much in terms of bleed potential, and anyway your stops will be pretty tight relative to how much you can gain out of it if it does end up pulling out or pulling a nice little reversal. Yeah, and again, pretty sort of, we said 30-20 for the first sort of target for Ethereum. Looks really close, but I mean, same time it's very far away. And again, 1450 for a higher sort of target area. You can sort of, if you can sort of run that. And again, we probably might spike it low, take out some stops, let the flag traders trade this and say, oh, you know what, there we go, they'll trade short. As soon as we break this, we can go high. We'll see if that comes out. And I think we'll run it there. And if you joined in late, remember, just watching YouTube, just watching YouTube in terms of just go back, replay it. VOD will be up and rendered later on in time if you want. Just in terms of history, we are always on the same time at, I think, 7:30 EST. I don't know what time we start. 8:30 EST. 8:30 EST because we're in 9:30. Yeah, start pretty early. make sure like be awake. Because it's just a nice little casual hour, not nothing too serious. But it's always nice to sort of chill out. And with that, I will say goodbye, good afternoon, good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon. I never know how to end these. Peace.